Okay, so hey guys. I thought I'd open with a big, exciting accident scene. I know you guys all from pre-hospital environments, so your attention span, like mine, is really short and you want to see the action. So this is the Hex River bus accident, which is quite renowned in Cape Town. That happened a few years ago. So tell me, who goes to scenes and to work and to accidents and still gets excited about it? Yeah, I thought so. So what else excites you guys? Well, how about a beer with some friends? Yeah, that's pretty exciting. And maybe, relaxing and having some chocolate, maybe with friends, probably without. Yeah, that's also pretty exciting. But not exciting as this. So, I want to show you guys a way tonight on how to enjoy this and to enhance it with something that we call foam. So when I mention foam to most people, I'm pretty sure that the first thing that comes to mind is a hot bath, foam bubbles, rubber duck, relaxing. To me, it used to definitely be the waves, the flashing of the foam lapping up onto the shores. Ah, brilliant. And I'm sure some of you party animals just think of a big night out with a big foam party. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe you guys are more thinking about your nice foam mattress after a long night shift. So tell me, what is foam? So foam started in 2012 by Mike Cadogan. He was at the ICEM conference in Dublin and he had a talk to give on social media and critical care. And he was trying to explain how to use social media and how it's evolving into medicine. And he realized that social media is a dirty term. It's got lots of dirty connotations. So he was sitting there at night looking into his Guinness glass and he was wondering, how can we make this better? And that evening he coined the term FOAMed. So FOAMed stands for Free Open Access Meducation, and it kind of encompasses a whole host of platforms. These platforms include blogs, videos, podcasts, Google Hangouts, pictures, Facebook, and the glue of it all is essentially Twitter. Joe Lex is considered as the godfather of foam, and he's very famous in quoting, "If you want to know how we practiced medicine 5 years ago, read a textbook." If you guys are reading the Mosbys, I'm pretty sure that's probably about 20 years old now. If you want to know how we practiced medicine 2 years ago, read a journal. If you want to know how we practice medicine now, then go to a good conference. And if you want to know how we'll practice medicine in the future, listen in the hallways and use foam. So, I want to introduce you guys to foam and give you top 10 tips for beginners. Now, this is completely from a foam website made by Chris Nixon. It's called iteachem.net. And I want to kind of go into a bit of detail on his top 10 tips. So tip number 1 is you need to sign up for Twitter. So get a Twitter account, keep it as your personal account, keep business and family and friends and all that separate, and make sure that you have a picture there so people can relate and identify to you. Step 2, register as a foam user. So to register as a foam user, you go onto Life in the Fast Lane and you'll see there's a long list at the bottom, and I'll post links in the show notes where you guys can find a link to this. And this just essentially means that you want to be part of the foam community and that you agree with the concept of foam. So support it, register. Number 3, be identifiable, don't be anonymous. The whole thing about foam is that people are interacting with other individuals. We're not interacting with the system, we're not interacting with a corporation. We're not interacting with some big black dog. We're interacting with each other, with friends. So identify yourself. Number 4, be professional. So when you're talking on foam or on Twitter, always think before you tweet. Just like people should think before they talk, really try and think before you tweet. Remember that whatever you put out there is a reflection of you and your character. So keep it real and be professional. Number 5, be active. Don't let anyone be wrong on the internet. So what this means is when you're seeing stuff and people tweeting stuff that you feel is incorrect, don't be afraid to engage in discussion. There might be many different right options, but there should never be a wrong option. Step 6, be generous with your criticism and always with what you share. If you find something awesome, share it, tweet it, retweet it. If you see something that you think can be improved, let the people know. the best way they can improve is by getting criticism. The number one thing I found that helps me is criticism so that I can improve and push to become better. So I think a lot of people are shy of it or they don't want to give negative feedback, but trust me, the people putting out stuff there want feedback. Number 7, the more you put in, the more you get out. This is true with everything in life. The more effort you put in, the more quality you put in, the better it comes out. And this might be in multiple forms. New friendships, research opportunities, travel opportunities, knowledge. Put in good stuff. Number 8, be a key user of foam resources that will help you get you started. So later on, I'm going to show you about different ways and how to get involved and different blogs and things that I think you should follow. Number 9, be a fabulous filter and use filters to beat information overload. So what this means is there are so many people on the Twitter sphere and there are so many people that tweet stuff that have no interest to you. Don't follow them. You don't have to be friends with everyone on Twitter. This isn't a social competition. Follow the people that you find and that you value. Use hashtags to specify what you're looking for. So when you're hashtagging from an EMS perspective, you can use the hashtag FoamEMS to filter out what you're looking for. And number 10, have fun and don't take it too seriously. If there's a bit of Twitter banter going on and it gets a bit serious, hey, tell a joke, laugh it off. Remember, this is supposed to be a fun experience that excites you. So, Scott Weingart and Brent Tomer did a brilliant talk on the online hierarchy of needs. I'll definitely post the link in the show notes, and I highly recommend you guys listen to it. And essentially, they talk about 5 aspects. This is kind of like their version of Maslow's hierarchy. So, essentially, the first thing you guys need to get grips with is existence. This means creating your own Twitter account, putting a picture of yourself up there, a small bio about what you do, who you are, what your interests are. Then, once you've created this account, be conscious of safety. Be very conscious about what you say, how you say it, what you're posting. Always remember that this is on the internet, and the internet can always come back to bite you. So, while you're being generous, also think, how could this negatively impact on me or the society that I'm representing? The next one is consumption. Absorb all the knowledge you can. Find the blogs that interest you. Find the podcasts that interest you. Consume the knowledge. Give feedback once you do. People love to get feedback. They put so much hour and time into creating all these resources that giving feedback encourages them to do more, to strive for better. So while you're consuming, also give feedback. Then start collaborating. Now that you're getting involved in Foam and you understand what it's about and where your interests lie, why not join up with the people that do inspire you and create stuff with them? And then finally at the top, once you've got an existence, you're safely practicing it, you're consuming all the knowledge you can, you're collaborating with your mentors, then start creating your own Foam. So when you are busy consuming Foam, what I recommend is an RSS feed. The RSS feed Feedly was recommended by Brent, and it's one I use as well. And there, on the left-hand side, you can see all the people that I follow and their journals and their blog sites. And then this automatically collates all of it here, and I can easily scroll through it on my computer and find all the articles. This is a great filter. Okay. So, now that you guys know what FOAMed is, let's talk about Twitter. So, Twitter is viewed as the heart of Foam, and there's many ways to use it. So, first of all, we have to discuss Bad EM. So, this is Bad EM. You'll follow them at BAD_EM, and this is the blog site we work for. So when you're starting off, there's a site called FOAMed for Beginners, and you follow them at FoamStarter, and then you go over to the people that they're following. So they are following 31 people that have been recommended as some of the top people to follow based on the knowledge that they put out, the blogs that they represent, and their activity on Twitter. So as any new person coming to Twitter, I highly recommend following these 31 people, and then after a while and seeing their tweets, you can either unfollow them or follow people that they are retweeting. Then you can also do hashtags. So this is when you search hashtag FOAMEMS, and you can type it up here in the box, hashtag FOAMEMS, press search, and then you'll come up with all the tweets related to the hashtag. It'll show you photos related, it'll show you the most popular tweets. You can go to see just the photos, videos, and everything related to it. So that's how the hashtag works. And you'll see everyone within their tweet will put the hashtag there. So if you hashtag FOAMEMS after saying something, it'll also be included in the tweet. So for EMS environments, they've created a FOAMEMS Twitter account, which means you don't have to search for the hashtag, but if you follow these guys at FOAMEMS, it automatically retweets all the tweets with FOAMEMS. There's also some suggestions that they put down here, like pre-hospital research, Team Australia EMS, and other people who are also related to FOAMEMS who you can also follow. So this is an example of the other day, August 22nd, where they were discussing something on Twitter. And I want to try and show you guys the full advantage. So Min Lekong, who's literally the tweeter of Twitter, he's always online, he's always tweeting, he gives out a wealth of knowledge. I highly recommend you guys follow him. They were discussing different methods of positioning a patient for intubation. And this kind of eventually, I think about 100 tweets later, they got to the point of manual inline neck stabilization with cricoid pressure. Like cricoid pressure is poorly taught. So cricoid pressure is something quite controversial, and Twitter loves to discuss it, and people go back and forth, and it's kind of, So this is an example of Min talking to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So all of these people will get direct messages when Min sends a tweet, and they'll know that what he's saying. And it gives them opportunity to respond. And so the discussion goes on, and people discuss various things. Also, who I recommend you guys follow as part of being part of the EMS service, they're the guys from EMS Wolfpack. And this is essentially just a community of people who are from EMS, who can be both paramedics or pre-hospital clinicians, and they just want to have a community where they chat and share stuff. So I definitely recommend following these guys. Cool, so that's Twitter. The next thing I'd like to talk to you guys about is blogs. So blogs are often on like a WordPress platform, and there are a few other platforms. And the blog that we started is called Brave African Discussions in Emergency Medicine. And essentially what we have is we have a blog page, which is over here. And there you can see all the different postings that we have. And if you go onto our FOAMED page, you can see other African blogs, as well as free open access journals, applications, people from Twitter that we recommend you to follow, and then there's also international blog sites where we recommend certain blogs. We also have a list of events, and this is normally the free CME events that we promote, as well as the bigger conferences. And then we have a video page where we try and post procedural videos. So, we've started this concept called Ubuntu Hospital, which is the African Virtual Hospital, and aeromedical and ambulance service. This is where we want to invite you guys to join us. So, if you guys have a tough case, or something that's bothering you, or something that you've noticed, or something that you're intrigued by, or something that you just want to share with everyone else, then we encourage you to write to us at info@badem.co.za and share the story with us, and we, together with you, will create it into a blog post. This will be up for people to chat about and discuss and to help improve what's happening. So, in the Ubuntu Hospital, no patient is identifiable. The hospital is obviously removed. It's a virtual hospital, and it's a free, safe place for people to discuss. While we do encourage criticism, we do this in a positive manner, and the aim is not to discredit people's treatment, but rather look at for other aims or other ways in doing different things. So, this is Min Lekong's blog post. It's called FARM, the Pre-Hospital and Retrieval Medicine. Min is super, super passionate about pre-hospital med. He's always posting, reposting, sharing, giving out endless information. So I highly recommend you sign up and follow him. So you can either follow him on your RSS feed with Feedly, like I showed earlier, or you can sign up and subscribe to his emails, where he'll email you every time he releases a new post. So when you go onto his blog site, you can see there's certain categories just for airways, archives, which are the previous blog posts, links that he recommends, the SMAC 2013 and 2014 media, which we'll talk about a bit later, and then some guidelines and the petition for John Hines. So I highly recommend you guys check out Min's blog. It's awesome. Okay, so Life in the Fast Lane. This is where Mike Cadogan and Chris Nixon and all of them are from. They started this up, and this is essentially FOAMed in its essence. These guys have created a wealth of knowledge on this website and have collaborators from all over emergency medicine and all different specialties. So if you go here and type in the Google search thing, you can almost find absolutely anything. If you're interested in ECGs, the ECG library is extensive beyond belief. If you're interested in literature and like the latest articles, and you want to, get a good review about what's going on and happening, I highly recommend reading their Life in the Fast Lane literature review, which is posted fairly often. And then they also have a bunch of other posts that are really, really good. So Life in the Fast Lane, brilliant blog site that I use almost daily. Okay, so you can't mention foam without mentioning Emcrit. Scott is like the superstar of the foam world. He is absolutely brilliant. He is entertaining, he is passionate, he's informative, he's inquisitive, he's fantastic to listen to. So even if you're listening to his podcast and something that you have no clue what's going on, he explains it in a way that is easy to understand and is relevant to many people, not just in the hospital environment. His podcasts are awesome, they're fun, they're entertaining. He's exceptionally good teacher, so I'd highly recommend having a look there. And he releases his podcasts about fortnightly. Okay, and then St. Emlyn's. So these are the guys essentially who inspired us. St. Emlyn's also have a virtual hospital in Worcester. And they also encourage people to discuss and collaborate and chat about different cases. They release blog posts about once a week to twice a week, and they are unbelievably informative. You can see they've got different topics, so you can choose what your interest is. The journal club's a lot of fun. You can read over articles and stuff like that. And it's a great way you can subscribe to their podcast as well. So let me just go over this quick. On most blog sites, you'll see these. The mail essentially stands for subscribing to their newsletter, and then you'll get alerted via email every time there's a new post. F is obviously for Facebook. You can follow them on their Facebook page. G plus is for Google Hangouts, or you can essentially follow them on there. The T, I think it's Tumblr, I'm not too sure. And obviously the Twitter bird, definitely follow them on Twitter. And V stands for Vimeo, where they have all their videos and stuff. So if you click on any of these, this is how you can kind of keep in contact and keep up to date with what they're posting. Okay, so Taming the Shrew are also, they're a little bit underground, but they are fantastic. They have a cool pre-hospital medicine dedicated page on their website, and they're often releasing different things. They've got, on their page you can see the foam EMS and follow what's going on there. And then they also have varying EMS blog posts, which is nice to get a perspective from people outside of South Africa. These guys are from the States, so I'd highly recommend having a look at them as well. Okay, so then we go on to talking about Facebook. So when we started our blog, Bad EM, we were quite intrigued to know that most of our South African audience were coming solely from Facebook, that you guys weren't really on Twitter. So obviously we have our Facebook account as well, but I'd like to encourage you guys to start a Twitter account. For me, I keep Facebook for my family and my friends. You tend to see really long-winded debates on Facebook where people go around in circles and actually never really get to the point. And you're following a group, not really a person. So Twitter is different in that you can create a professional account where you keep all your comments, tweets, and everything professional. Your tweets are always limited to 140 characters, so you're forced to get your point across. On Twitter, you can follow whoever you want. It's not like Facebook where you have to accept a friend request. On Twitter, you just click follow and you're following them. And if they don't follow you back, it doesn't matter. You can directly interact with a topic in a conversation by doing tweets. The hashtag on Twitter is invaluable. So like I showed you guys earlier, if you click on a hashtag, it'll show you everything related to that. I mean, this is brilliant for conferences. I suggest Harpe EMS have their own hashtag if you guys don't already. And it just collates everything from one different genre into its own little box. And the quality of forum resources are a lot more available and of a higher standard, I find, on Twitter. Okay, so let me give you guys an example of how I've been using forum resources. So whenever I'm doing a search, I go to googlefoam.com and you can type in. So today I was looking at pre-hospital blogs. I type that in there, I click search, and I got 137,000 results. And from there you can further subdivide it into different categories. Okay, so PHARM is pre-hospital and retrieval medicine, which is quite nice for you guys. And then from there you scroll down and you can find all the different sites and links and you can go there. So this essentially is kind of like Google Scholar, except it's Google Foam, so it doesn't give you all the other stuff. It's giving you medicine related articles that are all free and open access. Okay, so I started my pediatric rotation at the beginning of my third year, which was in February. And I was going into this rotation feeling quite nervous. It was my first clinical rotation as a med student. And I'd been following Natalie May on Twitter for a long time, and she's tweets all the time about these pediatric cases, and I looked up to her as a bit of a role model. So nervously, I kind of tweeted her and said, "Hey Natalie, any tips for my first start of my peds rotation?" And within 10 minutes, I think she gave me 10 different links to blogs and podcasts that she'd done and different methods and how to interact with kids. And you know what? It was brilliant. I read through all the stuff. I used it. I told her how amazing she was. The kids loved it. Yeah. So, I mean, for me, this was such a good experience. So just to give you some tips when you guys are working in the ambulance with kids that Natalie gave me, bubbles. So if you have some bubbles, you can blow them in the ambulance. They're sterile. They're not going to cause infection. Kids love bubbles. If you have a little child, a toddler, leave the toddler on the mother's lap. Examine the kid while the mom's busy holding them. It makes life a lot easier. And don't be afraid of kids. If you're confident and you do what you need to do and you examine them with a confidence, they'll allow you to do stuff. If you need to listen to a kid's chest, do that before they start crying. So as soon as you notice the child's quiet, quickly listen to their chest and then you can carry on with the rest of the examination. So save the discomforting skills for last. Okay, so another way foam meds benefited me. I'm busy doing research. The one guy is in New Zealand, Ross is in Cape Town, and James is all the way over in the States. And the four of us are collaborating and working together. And I can tell you that without foam, none of this would have happened. And then finally, so SMAC stands for Social Media and Critical Care. It's a conference that is held every year, and next year it's happening in Dublin on the 13th, 16th of June. And essentially, SMAC is kind of like a big gathering of friends. We all follow each other on Twitter. We all kind of know each other. It's almost like we've been online dating for the past, couple of years, and now we get to meet each other. Except now that I've met them, now we're going back to, meeting up with our old friends again. So SMAC, all their lectures at the conference can be downloaded freely off their website. So you guys can listen to all their podcasts from 2014 and 2013 conferences, and I'll post the links for that as well. And the talks they give are exceptional. They're by experts in the field, and not only are they super knowledgeable on their topics, but they present absolutely amazingly. The best way I can describe it is it's like TED Talks for medicine, except with a whole bunch of friends having a whole bunch of fun. And it's super interactive. So I'd highly recommend you guys check that out. Okay, so in closing, I want to encourage you guys not to forget that you guys are doing this because you love it, because you're volunteers, because this excites you. And, in closing, I want to say, like, when I was in high school, my parents were very, forcing me to do like accounting, and they were wanting me to go into the whole business line, and I would work on the weekends with one of my friends who had a response car. And I was like, this is cool, like, this is so much fun. And all of a sudden one day it dawned on me that you don't see people volunteering to do accounting. You don't see people volunteering to do engineering. I mean, people are pretty stingy. They don't do much for free. So I think if you find a career that you're willing to do for free, that's definitely something you should try work on to make it part of your life goal. So yeah, you guys, the volunteers, are the reason I'm doing this. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed the talk.